Welcome to New York's #2 sports show. The Rangers not only lose again at home, they got shut out again at home. They lose 5-0 to the Islanders. That is now a franchise record 7 consecutive winless games at Madison Square Garden to start the season. They're only 2 away actually from the NHL record, which is 9 held by the Buffalo Sabres. Uh, and as well, they've already tied a franchise record for home losses in this home shutouts in a season with 5, and it's only November 8th. So just let that sink in for a moment. Tied a franchise record for shutouts in a season at home already. 7 games in, 5 shutouts in 7 games. And one of the other 2 that weren't shutouts, they only scored 1 goal in that game. So, like, on the one hand, this is really absolutely crazy in terms of the road home disparity. It's something that we may never see again. It's that drastic. And in the ways that it is, the fact that it's the road record that's so good and the home one that's so bad. But it's become a mental thing now. And that's not an excuse. Like, you got to get over that. I'm sorry. Like, you have to. This is beyond embarrassing at this point. And this was very much like the Carolina game, the last home game they lost, where get off to a good start the first 10 minutes, buzzing, getting the better chances, opportunities. They don't score. And then the opposition scores. And then that's pretty much all she wrote. And then once the Islanders scored the second goal late in the first period, you knew it was totally over. Totally over. And it was. I mean, besides a couple of, sequences here and there, Rangers really didn't get a whole lot going at all. And for me, again, it goes back to the lack of talent situation. Even though I know on the road they've had success, in some ways, you gotta again. I've said this. You look at that road record, that 7-1-1 road record. That like, how the fuck is that happening? Like in some ways, like that might be the bigger surprise. I mean, this is obviously to the level that it is. All the shutouts. This is obviously more to the extreme. But like, look, the Rangers will obviously start to win some games at home. It's just bound to happen. But don't think that the Rangers are just going to continue to win all their road games, because that's not going to stay either. End of the day, this is a mediocre Ranger team. Um, they're trying the best they can as far as like limiting, big time opportunities for other teams. Now, they weren't successful in this game against the Islanders, where the Islanders were very opportunistic, but that's kind of the Islanders' style of play. That they, you don't want to give them 2-on-1 opportunities. That's exactly what they did. 3 2-on-1 goals for the Islanders. I mean, grade A opportunities. That cannot happen for this Ranger team that really struggles to score goals. They have to play that sort of tight checking, low event style hockey. As boring as it may be, it's the best chance they got. And yet again, an early power play opportunity that just goes amiss. And, so you throw that in there as well. So, Rangers got 7-7-2, which like isn't a good record at all, but like it's not absolutely terrible. I would definitely call it, it's NHL 500, but it's a little bit below average. Like it's an 82 point pace, which like that won't get you in the playoffs. But like, look, they're gonna win some home games eventually, but they're gonna lose road games. It's the craziness as far as just the extremes of it all. But it puts a lot of emphasis again that the next game is home against Nashville. Like, what is going to happen? And that's a bad Nashville team. But the Rangers have shown it doesn't really matter who the opponent is. I mean, the Islanders, like as far as them getting a shot tonight, Ilya Sorokin's had a really bad year. That's a team that gives up a lot of opportunities. Like, if anything, this is not the Islanders from like 5 years ago. This is an Islander team that, if anything, it's more high event hockey, more goal scoring on both sides, where they have some, ability to score, but they're also going to give up a lot of chances as well. I mean, Sorokin faces some of the most high danger chances of any goalie in the league. And that just really wasn't the case tonight. Pretty easy outing for him. Again, besides the first 10 minutes and a little bit of a sequence at a part of the third period. So there's no excuses. And really, I put a lot of the blame. It's a collective, right? That's the first thing. But if we're to go individual, like JT Miller as the captain could really be a massive mistake. And I was not thrilled with it. Again, if you had to choose one person, sure. he and Trocheck were probably the front runners, but I was in no rush to name someone. Let's see that marinate. Let's see that play out before making that decision. So I don't know if that's weighing on him. He does not look good. He does not look good. He has been one of the most frustrating players to watch this season by a long shot. I've spoken about Panarin a lot. He hasn't been much better, besides a couple of, standout games here and there, which he's provided. But um, Miller just, I know that speed is not like part of that's not part of his game, but he looks even slower than that. The decision making is horrible. Just, it's been a fucking frustrating watch when it comes to JT Miller. Really, really has. Um, and so, yeah, for me, it's that top six, generally speaking, that I always tend to go back to. It's a team thing. Don't get me wrong, but it's also the reactions. Look, do I appreciate that JT Miller and Mika Zibanejad I'd care? Yes, I do appreciate that. I'd rather than show some level of frustration than not at all, but it's actually getting to a point now where it's too much. As far as slamming the stick, or sorry, breaking the stick, slamming the bench door, it's like, all right, like I get it. I get it. But like as a fan, like I understand it more, but like, look, as leaders of the team, like you can't really be doing that every 5 seconds. It's just, it's not going to get you out of it. Like as much as, there's a little bit of like realistic, those sorts of reactions in some ways, like it's realistic. Like it isn't good what's going on. And you're going to show those frustrations every now and then, but it's just like, it's become a lot now. And pretty early on in the games, these are your leaders. Like it's more about, look, it's one thing for them to do it, but it's how does the rest of the team react? And they see that they look up to these guys. Like it just doesn't set the right example. And again, like JT Miller being captain, that really, really, really has a chance to be a problem. Way too early to make that claim, right? Could look back and like it's only been 16 games. But just the product that he's, putting out there, um, I don't know. It's he has been not a fun watch for me at all. Um, JT Miller. So as far as the lineup for this game, only one change, and as well, Vincent Trocheck is still out. I think he's close. I think that there's probably a chance he returns to the Nashville game, but just as well, he might not. They've been kind of coy about it. It'll be somewhat soon, right? Like I would say within a week at maximum. If not, then something went wrong. Um, on defense, Vakanainen back to the lower body injury, and he comes in for Matthew Robertson. It says a lot. It says a lot. They don't really trust Matthew Robertson. That all said, Vakanainen's play has just not been good. Um, and he didn't play much. Now, again, the score, trailing probably plays a role in that, but he played less than 12 minutes. Um, actually kind of messes up a little bit at the very end where it made it 5-0. So, he comes back in after probably not having played a lot, and then, kind of pinches incorrectly, leads to a 2-on-1 in the honors, score their fifth goal. But, um, look, Connor Mackey gets sent down. I think between Vakanainen and Robertson, they're going to keep on kind of going back and forth with that. Not a great situation. Really, honestly, two players that really shouldn't be in your top six, if we're being perfectly honest. But this was a game that really your top guys really didn't perform on any level at all. The forwards were the same. So Adam Edstrom was a healthy scratch again. Expect to probably see Adam Edstrom, taking the Trocheck. Well, I guess the Trocheck part is important, but even taking that aside, we think Adam Edstrom probably finds his way back in the lineup soon. I would say Hamelash has looked okay, but he will be sent down, I think, sooner than later. I'd be surprised if he stays up. They stuck with the same lines they did against Detroit. What did change by the third period was they swapped Radish and Sherry. So it's, that's not going to do a whole lot. Just isn't, and it didn't. It didn't really change anything. So, that's kind of the unfortunate circumstance of this roster right now. And give them credit for what they've done on the road, but what they're doing at home, don't just look at it as, okay, this is just a total fluke. Yes, in the extreme nature of it, sure it is. but you've been shut out 5 times in 7 games and scored 1 goal in the other 2. Like, this is real. This is beyond just, kind of, like just a bit of an outlier. It's bad. It's one thing to lose. It's not that where you just can't score at all. Um, it's concerning. So, um, Rangers get off to a nice start. Really do. They were the better team, and they draw a penalty, actually. Will Borgen was high stick by Emil Heineman, and the Rangers had opportunities. I mean, really, you look at it, Panarin had a great chance early in this game. Mika Zibanejad had a couple of really good opportunities. One that, even straight that goes off the post. Another, I think, can't remember if it was on the power play. It might not have been shoots it wide, and kind of that Zibanejad patented, left side one-time spot. A little closer, but he's not able to, score there. But again, like the top guys were, in positions to score, had chances, but couldn't get it done. And really, Rangers were playing very, very well. And we've seen that before. So, like, the message has been sent and has been received as far as the better starts. That was a problem. Starts are there. Like, but this was such a similar game to the Carolina one. And the air just leaves the fucking building when the other team scores because they know it's coming. And the team is not able to overcome that. And so Bo Horvat at the 10:29 mark of the first scores his 10th goal of the season from Heineman and Palmieri. And this is a play where Rangers, again, like at this point, they are kind of buzzing. And Adam Fox throws it towards the net. Cooley's already there. I feel like Lafreniere somewhat unnecessarily goes over there. But then JT Miller, like, he needs to be more, conscious of staying back fully because he already kind of what Fox is, up the ice. And so it's kind of just Miller and Gavrikov. This should not have become an on. Like, Miller, for some reason, got too aggressive. And then Fox couldn't get back in time, passed by Heineman. Horvat scores. And Bo Horvat's the last guy in the Islanders. You won that position. By the way, Matthew Schaefer, who really played well, but like he wasn't really a factor on the score sheet. Just wanted to bring him up in the fact that he makes his debut at Madison Square Garden. He really didn't factor in. He does draw a penalty that does lead to a power play goal, but back to Horvat, he's really had a great season so far, and he's someone. And like the frustrating thing with that is, and I was going to say that Horvat is someone that you don't want in prime opportunities. He is one of the guys in the Islanders that can score. He has a good shot, and and he's been really playing well. But it's just frustrating. Like, here it is, Bo Horvat, former Canuck. He's doing well. JT Miller, not so much. And that right there is a pretty big difference. So yeah, Gavrikov was the only one back. JT Miller kind of, is indecisive and really kind of fucks up there. And Fox just wasn't able to get back in time. 1-0 Islanders. And then it's another one of those back-breaking late period goals that we've seen far, far too often this year. Again, like just these games, it's very much, Sullivan can say what he wants. Like, yes, not every game is created equally, but there's at this point, like there's just themes, and late period goals have killed this team. So at 1927, Jonathan Drouin scores the second goal of the season from Duclair and Pajot. And this one was a little bit similar, where it's a situation where Zibanejad and Panarin are not able to connect on a pass in the neutral zone, and Gavrikov gets caught up ice right in the middle of that. Fox is the only one back. Nice pass by Duclair. Drouin makes a nice little move, tucks it in backhand, 5-hole past Shesterkin, 2-0. Again, not exactly the same, but look, not a great situation just as far as Gavrikov Fox. And in that situation, more Gavrikov. Fox less of a culprit to me, like collectively on those goals. Gavrikov there wasn't Gavrikov's greatest game, and I've been singing his praises, but bit of a rough showing for him tonight. So 2-0 Islanders there. That's a huge goal, and you knew the Rangers were done. And that's the problem I have, is that even though they showed some road spirit and have shown comeback ability at home, it's just like, they don't have a chance. At this point, it's 2-goal game. Just that's all she wrote. So second period, look, and the Rangers, once that Horvat goal happened, Rangers were not able to get back to the level of play they had before that. And the second period was kind of just continuation. where the Islanders were for sure the better team in the second period. Rangers did not get much of any opportunities going. Rangers even did have a power play chance. Tony DeAngelo at 13-16 hooked Sam Carrick, and the Rangers could have really used a big power play goal. They don't get it. And then Connor Sherry, who was the one who was drawing all the power plays the night before, he takes a penalty, hooks Matthew Schaefer at 16:54. And what happens? Towards the end of the power play, which is another thing that has happened, the Ranger penalty kill has been good, but when they fucked up, it's been towards the end, and it's Bo Horvat scoring again. Second of the game, 11th of the season from Duran and Barzell. And, a situation Rangers were unable to get the puck out of the zone. They were probably tired at this point. You kind of had JT Miller kind of going all over the place. Again, I don't like his play at all. And, again, Gavrikov's in the middle of it as well. But a nice little back pass by Jonathan Drouin to Bo Horvat, and he snaps it past Shesterkin to give the Islanders a 3-0 lead. Again, a goal at 18:42 of the second. So if they're, just total frustration. And when it rains, it pours for the Rangers, just really bad gut punch spots to give up the goals and then to not get the goals when you really need them, especially on power play. But we go to the third, 3-0 Islanders. At 4:44, Noah Laba hooks Cal Ritchie. Rangers kill that one off. But, by and large, there was one little sequence, like kind of middle of the third, where I forget what line it might have been. It was the top six. Let's just say that. It was the top six, had some chances. I think maybe JT Miller was on for part of that. And they don't score out of it. And the Rangers do pull the goalie down 3 with probably about 4 or 5 minutes left. Had some offensive zone possession naturally with having the extra man, but it would be an empty net goal for the Islanders. Pajot scores his 5th goal of the season from Holmstrom and Duran. And then for good measure, Islanders actually scored again, a non-empty net goal at 30 seconds left in the game in 1930. Anders Lee, 3rd goal of the year from Pajot and Duclair. And this is one where Vakanainen gets caught up ice. Steiner's the only one back, and it's a pass from Pajot to Lee. Very similar looking goal to goals 1 and 2, and the Islanders win 5-0. So just ridiculous, the ineptitude that the Rangers have shown at home, not just the losses, but the shutouts. 5 and only 1 goal in one of them. And they scored 5 goals against a Sharks team that will probably be a team, that'll be a bottom 5 team as far as goals against. Again, that's a Sharks team that's getting better, but more in the sense of sort of the offensive talent that they have. They're not a team that, but hey, I got to stop talking about that game because it's like the fact the Rangers scored 5 goals, a Taylor Radish hat trick, who's still their goal leader, which is fucking pathetic. 16 games in, his 5 goals leads the team. Like, hey, the fact they even did that is impressive. But the funny thing is they still lost the game. So now it's Nashville versus the Rangers, and the Predators truly are, and I think even Predator fans would admit to this, like, this is one of the worst teams in the league currently. I believe Roman Josi is out. There is kind of a confidence crisis with the Predators as well. Hearing Brian O'Reilly's quotes a few nights ago, the things he had to say, like, that's a team that's kind of reeling right now. They have one of the worst goal differentials in the league. They have one of the worst road records in the league. Like, they are one of, and this is not a surprise. Like, Nashville was not supposed to be a very good team. All that to say, it's like there is a lot of pressure on the Rangers, knowing that this is probably one of the best chances that the Rangers would have to win a game at home. Although we thought that with the Sharks, possibly, but also not to say that they've also had some fairly easy type opponents at home along the way as well. But now it's at a point where, again, 7 consecutive, losses at home to start the season. And now Nashville comes in. If you don't beat Nashville, just the way the schedule lays out, you only have 1 game on, I believe, November 16th against the Red Wings at home. So you hit a point where if you don't get this, you're talking at least mid-November at the bare minimum till you win a home game. Like, this could really hit levels. It's so bad now, but it could even get worse. It's pretty remarkable. So we'll see what happens against Nashville, but the Islanders come into Madison Square Garden and take care of business, beating the Rangers by a score of 5-0. An Islander team, the Rangers really have done very well against the last 2 years. Pretty dominantly as well. But not the case here. Rangers struggles at home, only get worse. Fifth shutout at home, which ties a franchise record for a season. And there are 34 home games to go. So yeah, just absolutely pathetic. Rangers dropped to 7-2 overall, and now they will await the Nashville Predators coming to Madison Square Garden as the Rangers will hope to somehow break this absolutely embarrassing streak at home to start the season.